Agut Voch Raboisai. Nishmas Mordechai. Good Voch. Welcome to all the guests. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem. You know what? This guy does it better. Let me show you this real quickly. Agud Vochra Boisai. Same.
If that's your tmura, so...
It's a tmura. It's supposed to look a little like me, I think. Like it has white hair. Let's see.
Yeah, I see the resemblance.
Agud. But it has the tie. Okay. Somebody sent this in. I guess this is here. And Nishmas, Benimin, Aizig, and Hiresh, הכהן. Yosef, check out your wording here. It's all backwards today. I don't know why. The MDY family. Nishmas, Boruch, Helfgott. You noticed? Again? Leilu missed it. And Nishmas, Benimin, Aizig, and Hiresh, הכהן. Yosef, check out your wording here. It's all backwards today. I don't know why. The MDY family. Nishmas, Boruch, Helfgott. Okay, now they got it. Which day was it that Reb Eli did a demonstration of Kriya Nishtachava and Kima? Akiva Natan, thank you. The reason why I'm reading this email, because I got this email, I think on Friday. I don't know. Yosef, when did we get that email?
2 days before.
When?
Probably soon after you did the mentioning. You mentioned
Oh, I mentioned in Shir?
Yeah.
That's the pshat. Okay, because what happened was, I was here for MDY Kids Thursday night, and somebody said, "Oh, you just did Kriya Nishtachava on the table." So it's Megillah Daf Chav Gimel. So if anybody wants to know, and then you just sent it to me on Friday, so I thought it was. So it's not a coincidence. Okay. Talking about MDY Kids, so Baruch Hashem is going really well. They're holding Daf Chav Gimel today. No, they did Chav Dalet today. And the Siyum is being sponsored by Moshe Ehrenfeld. It's a $20,000 donation, which he already paid. 20,000 shekels. Sorry, 20,000 shekels. Leilu Nishmas' father was a huge Talmid Chacham. He was a dayan by Reb Nisim Karelitz. Chaim Yehuda ben Shloima R Eli Shalom. Zechat Tzadik L'Bracha. Shalom should have an Aliyah. Yishkoyach Reb Moshe. Who? Ehrenfeld. He brought you to the shir? Shmak. Wow. By the way, it's a very short email thing, very short daf. I'm going to let you out early today, I think. The koilo is sponsored. That's why I came late. You get out every week at the same time. It just depends when we start. The koilo is sponsored by Anon Ymous from Lakewood. Also, koilo sponsored by supporting Torah, strengthen our bitachon. And, there went my water. Sorry. Elia, where are you? No, just kidding. The Masechta is sponsored by Maaser. The second sponsor of the Masechta, Nishmas Chaya Bas Yosef by Anon Ymous. The sponsor of the month, Shprintzy and Alan Gross, Nishmas, the Yahrzeits of our fathers, שלמה זלמן ben Yitz Moshel, and for Benimin Aizig ben Hiresh, הכהן. The second sponsor of the month, MDY family, Nishmas Boruch Helfgott, ben Ybl'c. Third sponsor of the month, Nishmas Zachariah ben Moshe. The sponsor of the week by Yitz Moshel, Yishkoyach, in honor of Rebelli, the Baldman Brothers, Yosef Billyack, Gershon, Avi Gargir, Tomer, and Avi Gargir, and all the others who make this year happen. By Tani Pollak, Nishmas, Shmo Menachem, Ben Rav Tuvia Yaakov on his second yahrzeits. And the art is sponsored for complete refuah for Chaim Tzvi Ben Leah. I'm not reminding people not to share my personal number. Why do I do that?
Why?
Because people ask you all the time?
I had an interaction on Friday.
It doesn't matter. Who cares? Whatever. If somebody has my number, I'm not going to pick up anyway. I'm not going to respond. I don't respond to people on my phone. So, dafberma@gmail. Fine. Yishkoyach. I'll say it real quickly. Shalom Aleichem. What's your name?
Jack Gross.
Jack Gross. From?
Morganville, New Jersey.
Who? Bergenville?
Morganville.
Mazin Morganville. It's a place?
You've heard of Manalapan, New Jersey?
No.
Yes.
Where the Chinese kosher
It used to be kosher.
was selling that.
Anyways, you live in New Jersey somewhere. Who? Oh, you're Rabbi Gross's father, the one with all. What has that baby, by the way?
Baby's out of the hospital. He's doing
Wow.
well. So thank you.
That's why he came in? No, you didn't come in for that.
We're lucky he came out right before we.
Wow. Okay, so welcome. Shalom Aleichem. And you guys, what's your name? Father and son team?
Yosef and Benji Aryeh.
Aryeh.
And
From?
originally West Hempstead, now Boch. We moved 2 weeks ago.
Oh, very nice.
Thank you.
Welcome. Nachamal. Okay. This is Hill Kamyansky's a new guy.
We just met.
You just met.
Yes.
Who else? Hi, Dr. Shamroth. Eitan Agor? Oh, he's hiding. He doesn't. The guy behind. What's your name? Tani Rosenstein. Shalom Aleichem. From? Oh. You're not Rosenstein. But not yesterday, I hope. Okay, good. All right, fine. Rabbi Isai, we're in the middle of a sugi of kachim. It's very geschmack, and we're learning a lot of new concepts. One of the things we learned is that if a person has mois stumais, he has, let's say he designated money for the case that the Gemara gave us, was he designated money for his son's Naziros, and then his son is no longer a Nazir because one of the relatives came with a haircut machine and gave him a haircut. One of the relatives said, you're not a Nazir, or he said he's not a Nazir. Now, what do you do with the money? The money had no designation because when a person finishes the Naziros, they have to bring 3 korbanos. A chatas, oila, and a shlamim. But there's no designation to the money. What do you do with the money? So Rabbi Yochanan says, it's halacha l'Moshe in Sinai. It was brought down in Sinai. We don't ask any questions. Because Boruch told Moshe Rabbeinu in Sinai, give it, put it in the shofar. It's a certain vessel that contains the davas, and from that vessel we take the money and we buy carbon oila. Whenever there's lull time on the mizbeach, there's no karbanas, we bring a oila. Okay, we're holding 2 lines from the bottom of Chaf Hey Amud Beis. Omar halacha ibn Nazir. Rabbi Yochanan says halacha l'Moshe Sinai. Rish Lakish argued and he said that's what we do. We buy a oila, but it's a pasuk. Halacha ibn Nazir. It's halacha l'Moshe Sinai. As the Gemara v'suleka. What? That's the only thing. Bin Nazir. Rabbi says is HaKadosh Baruch Hu spoke about a Nazir. If you have extra money, then it's sasum. It's non-specified currency. You buy oil with it. There's something else also. Vatanya ushar chayave kinim shebatoira shefrishu mois likineim. Okay, so here's a chart. Maybe. This is mois tumim. There's supposed to be oil chat shlamim. That's mois mufurashim. Mois tumim. I just don't know what to do with the money. Okay, now next. Gotta get out of this. Here we go. Here's a list of individuals who, in order to eat kachim, in order to have the proper kapara from their tumah, call it kapara. It doesn't mean that they sin, but in order to get out of their tumah, they have to bring 2 birds, a chatas and a oila. Who are they? A yeledes, a woman who gave birth, a metzaira, somebody has saras, a zav and a zava. There's a difference between all 4 of them, and that is a zav and a zava on the bottom always bring birds. That even if they're multimillionaires, they bring 2 birds. Whereas the yeledes and the metzaira depends how wealthy they are. Now, the chatas by the woman always remains the same. She brings a bird. The oila depends if she's wealthy or not. The metzaira really depends. Everything depends on how wealthy he is. He could bring birds. If he's wealthy, he brings actual animals. Says the Gemara, Vatanya, Ushar Chayavi Kinim Shabbat Torah, all the other ones on this list, Shefrishu Mois Likinei. They designated money for the kinim. What's a kin? With a kuf, not with a chaf. A chaf is what a lot of children in Israel in school have. Lice. Not your children, other people's children. And because of other people's children, your children also have it. Yeah, the Americans. And what are you? You're not Israeli. You're English. It's a machla here. There's parents that say, listen, I don't have time for this. I have way too many kids. And every time they go back to school, they keep on getting it. So forget it. Just let them have it. And there's no law about kicking out kids from school. In America, if the kid has it, out. Over here, no. Chas v'shalom. So the whole class gets it's a mess. Okay. Huh? Besides the pace. The very long pace. Okay? Yeah, I got it. So, Keenim, what happened? I didn't know what he said.
You don't want to
Tell the editor to edit that out. Okay. Keenim Shabbat Torah. Shar Chayavi Keenim Shabbat Torah. Keenim is a set of birds. Oyla, Saif, and Chatas Saif. Those are the only two karbatas that you bring as a bird, Oyla and a Chatas Saif. The way, because it's Motzei Shabbos, I got to tell you this phenomenal story. It's a true story. There's a sefer Makar Baruch, he brings this down. It says that there's a Gemara in Chulin that says that there's a Havamina. There's just it's not even a Havamina that you could take this bird Oyla and shecht it at night. So the Rashba talks about it and says, I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. He says, Meshubash. It's a mistake in the gears that it's impossible. Nobody had a Havamina, you could shecht an animal, any carbon at night. So the Meshech Chachma, an Achroin, comes along and says, no, maybe the pshat is based on, I forgot, some other Rishon or something, that the pshat is that the Oyla, the bird Oyla comes for the blood of a regular carbon, and the Chatas Ha'if, the bird, comes for the Imurim, the parts of the animal that you put on the Mizbeach. And you know what? The Imurim you could put on, or maybe it's the opposite, the Oyla you could. The Oyla is the Imurim, maybe that's the pshat. The Oyla is the Imurim, and the Imurim of a regular animal you could put on at night. So Mela, I would have a Havamina, you could shecht the bird Oyla at night. Something like that. Maybe I'm mixing up the Chatas and the Oyla. But anyway, yeah, it's the Oyla Sa'if. So the Oyla Sa'if is the Imurim. And I don't remember who it was exactly, maybe it was the Meshech Chacham himself, dreamt that in Pamali Shemali they're saying, said, nobody knows how to learn in our generation. And the Rashba got up and said, no, the Meshech Chacham knows how to learn. Look, he said a better pshat than me in the Gemara. I thought it was a mistake, and I like his pshat. Anyway, okay, fine. So in the weekday I probably wouldn't say the story. What's the Shabbos? You have plenty of time. He put money on the side without designating what's for the Oyla, what's for the Chatos. And then what happened? He became wealthy. It's interesting. Basically, with this money, you could do 6 things if you think about it. You have money that's not designated. You could either purchase a bird Oyla with it, you could purchase a bird Chatos with it, or you could purchase both of them with it. Let's say you have a really fancy bird, a nice bird that costs all the money you set aside, 1 Oyla. All the money you want to do Chatos. You want to do both. B'kitzer, what's going on here? I don't know. If you just spit at it, it changes. Okay. Yeah. Let's put it over here. Let's see what happens. Oh, maybe it's it's touching the screen. Don't worry about it. It's fine. It's good. It's not him. It's me. So now you have the money put away in a bag somewhere, and the guy becomes wealthy. So now he could switch it to buy from the money. He could buy an animal. It's interesting. He designated for a bird. He could switch it and buy an animal. What animal? Either a Oyla or a Chatos or both. So there's 6 options you can do with this money. If he wants to bring a Chatos, an animal, he can switch it up to an animal. If he's poor, he's not going to bring an animal. He can't bring an animal. But Oylas, he can bring Oylas Behema, Yavi, Mace. Now, we're only talking about, we'll go back to this. We're only talking about the Mitzvah right now. Why? Because as I explained, the Zav and the Zav on the bottom, they never bring an animal. They only bring a bird. The Yoledis on top, she has to bring 1 bird, 1 animal, if she becomes wealthy. So the only one of the four that brings two, when he becomes wealthy, brings two animals, it's only the Mitzayir. Okay, mace. This Mitzayir guy dies. And he has money, satum, here, whatever, this is for later, but he has a bag of money. You have no idea what's in the bag. You don't know for what. It could be, he designated the bag for Naila, for Chatas, for both, we don't know. So what do you do with this? Yiplu linidava. This sounds very familiar. This is exactly what Rabbi Yochanan said when it comes to a Nazir money. When a Nazir is no longer a Nazir, the father said the son is not a Nazir, and he had a bag of money and it wasn't designated for anything. What does Rabbi Yochanan say? It falls to a Nadava. You buy a oila with it for the Beis HaMikdash. You give a gift to the Beis HaMikdash with it. Whenever they don't have anything on the Mizbeach, you throw on an oila. With what money? With this money. Over here it says the same exact thing. You don't know what to do with the money. Somebody was mafresh money for his birds, and then he dies. You take the money from the birds. What does it say? You take the money from the birds and you put it in the dava pushka. It's literally a shofar. It's wide on the top, narrow on the bottom. You throw the money in there. When they don't have money for an oila, they take the money out of there and they buy an oila. So here's another case that the money goes for nadava. Why do you tell me it's only by a nazir? There's another case when a person separates and puts money aside for his birds and he doesn't know what to do, and we don't know what he meant with that money, you buy an oila with it. Yeah? Everybody's with me? You're with me? Good. Says Gemara, you're right. Tana Nazir v'chayavim kinim d'damulei. We said one halacha l'Moshe Sinai. What was the halacha l'Moshe Sinai? Buy a Nazir. Who don't know what the Nazir meant with the money, you give it to an oila. But everything that's similar to it has the same halacha. What does it mean it's similar to it? Explains Taisvis over on the side. Anything that has two karbanas and it's one chiyuv. A nazir is one chiyuv. I'm a nazir, and for my nazirus I have to bring two karbanas, and I don't know what to do with the money. There's a mix-up. You don't buy any of the karbanas. You buy shalom aleichem. You're hiding over there in the back. Not good. You buy an oila with it. Fine. Or many oilas. So too in our case, it's very similar to a nazir. You have a mitzayra. He has tzaras on his hand. When he's done with the whole process of purification of tahara, he brings two birds, two karbanas for one chiyuv. One chiyuv of tzaras, two karbanas. I don't know what to do with the money. I buy an oila with it. So in other words, it is included in that halacha l'Moshe Sinai. Says the Gemara. Over here, it's a very strong language. A lot of times, usually means, and I'm coming to argue on this and this manda amar. That's not the case over here. It's just saying that the word nazir comes to exclude something else. You have a person who's chayav a chatos. What happened? He was mechal Shabbos, or the typical case. It's called the chatas chaylev because many people are nichshal and chaylev when they, you shecht an animal and there's the forbidden fats over there, the chaylev. He ate some of that chaylev. He thought it's mutter and it was awesome. So he brings the chatos. That's the most common chatos. So he set aside money. He said, here's money. Eat it. No, sorry, not money. He's chayav chatos. He's chayav chatos. As soon as he eats that chaylev, as soon as he's mechal Shabbos, chayav chatos. And then he goes, you know what? If I'm chayav chatos, let me bring a noila also. So now he's chayav two korbanos. He set aside money. Here, this money right here is for my chayva, whatever I owe. Now the problem is he owes two. He owes a chatas and a oila. So now the money is a mixture of chatas and oila money. But what's very different over here is, if you recall, I was specifying this word. It comes from one chiyuv. One nazirus creates two korbanos. One tzaras creates two korbanos. Over here, it's two korbanos from two chiyuvim. One is because he ate chaylev, and one is a oila that he decided to bring as an adava. Out of his own goodwill, he decided to bring an oila. That's one chiyuv. And out of the fact that he made a mistake in halacha, he was mechal Shabbos, or he ate chayil, he has to bring a chatos. Those are two separate items. You can't mix them. They're not interchangeable. If you have two karbanos, a chatos and an oila, that one Nazir has to bring because he finishes in the zeros, and you set aside money, now if I want, I could buy the chatas with it. If I want, I could take the money and buy an oil with it, or I could buy both of them with it. Because both the chatas and the oil come for the naziros. The chatas and the oil come for the tzaras. So I could do whatever I want with the money. But over here, the chatas and the oil come for two different things. One is because he sinned, and one is because he felt like bringing oil. So you can't take this money and buy this with it. La fuke maha. It's to exclude this case. Now he's messed up. He has money that he can't do anything with it. He cannot buy a chatas with it. Because the halacha l'moishim is Sinai that Rebbeinu is talking about is when there's one chiyuv, not two chiyuv. Meis.
He does?
Mace. Yeah, the guy dies. And he left over a bunch of unknown money. That's it. Now you have to throw it out. There's nothing you can do with it. You can't buy a chatas with it because it might be an oil. You can't buy an oil with it. It might be a chatas. Throw it into Yam HaMelech. Omer Ravashi. Hodamers mefarashim loy. Comes Rashi and says, okay, so we have two cases. We have Mois Stumim and Mois Mufarashim. Mois Mufarashim is where he says straight out, this bag of money is for, here, Chatas. This bag of money, I have another one here, Shlamim. This is Mufurish. This bag of money is oil money. Boom. Okay. So now we have 3 bags of money this way. Okay. It's not pshat that he said, oh, this bag is chatas, this bag is shlamim, this bag is oila. That's not what happened. He says, all these, you see, these 3 bags for my chatas, shlamim, oila. He didn't say which bag is what. But he said a name. He was very specific with his names. Chatas, Shlamim, Oila, these 3. Chatas, Shlamim, Oila. So he says, you don't have to say this is exactly for this and this is for that. Just say their names and that's it. It becomes mufurish. Once it becomes mufurish, I don't have the halacha Moshe Messina anymore. Halacha Moshe Messina says that when you don't know what to do with the money, there's a mix-up, there's extra money, you give it to the Oila. Not in this case. Okay. The other pshat in Ravashi is that not that you have to say the word you just say the word. These are for my obligation, my chayv. And by the way, chayv, chatos is a chayva. The word chatos and chayva go together. So, hareim kivim furashim. It's as if you said mefurish, that you specify that this is shlamim, this is oila, this is chatos. And therefore what? What do you do with the money? So, Machlokes Rishonim, we'll go with Tosfos. Tosfos says, throw it all out. Because now I know there's chatos money here. Here, somewhere in here, I just don't know where. So you have no choice. You have to take all 3 bags and toss them into the Dead Sea, into Yam HaMelech. Amar Rava. Huh?
What's he saying?
You don't have to say the word chatos or shlamim. Huh? Oh, according to Tosfos, it's mefurish, and you have to throw it in Yam HaMelech. Amar Rava. Now, you're saying that if we don't know what's in the bag, you don't know anything, it's sasum, it's concealed, And what's the halacha? Halacha l'Moshe Messina, yiplu nidava, you put it in a special box that says on it nidava. It's in the Beis Hamikdash. They had it in certain places. People came, put their, Remeir Balanes, whatever it is. It says nidava. You throw your money in there. Shalom Yisrael. Once in a while, they would open up the box, take the money out, and buy oilers with it. Check this out. So, here you have 2 bags with nothing on them, and this one bag says chatas on it. This does say chatas. So now I know this is chatas. So now I take this and I put it on the side. These 2 bags become a furush. Why? The halacha l'Moshe Messinai says that the only time it's considered sasum, and I have a special halacha when it's sasum, all the money goes, even though, remember the Gemara asked the question, I have chatas money mixed in here, so how could I buy a oila with it? What's the answer? Halacha l'Moshe Messinai. So this halacha l'Moshe Messinai, that I could use all this money and buy an oila with it, even though there's chatas money in there, is only when it's mixed in. The chatas is somewhere in here. But once I remove the chatas from it, I put it over here. Now these 2 over here become a furish. They don't have the halacha l'Moshe Messinai sasum. So they become, how do you say mefurish? Explicit. Yishkoyach. Panovich. He went to Panovich. So, we don't like to advertise that. According to Taisus, toss this into the garbage. Well, some say, you take this is Yama Melach, the Chatas money, Yama Melach. There's nothing you can do with Chatas money, right? Because he's done. You can only buy a Chatas with this money for his kapara, but he doesn't need the kapara anymore. It's done. He's dead. He's gone. Hold on. So this guy is Yama Melach. These 2 bags, you go ahead and you buy a shlamim and an oila with. What are you saying?
How did you separate them out if they were all together?
No. When he was alive, he said, okay, all this is for my korbanos. I have to bring 3 korbanos. He's a Nazir, he has to bring 3 korbanos. Right before he died, he goes, you know what? I want this to be a chatos. And he forgot to say anything about this. Weiter. Daf Yomi. I don't know what happened to my sponsor note here. Somebody took it out of my Gemara. I'm not kidding. Let's look. HBA Group. I don't know what it is. Okay. Says the Gemara. Tani Pollak. We have a raya to Rava that what? Once you separate out the chatas money, the rest becomes explicit. As if it's explicit. The same halachas is explicit. A guy says straight out, this, you hear? This is how it happened, Avi. He says, this should be my chatas. The rest, I don't know. Should be for my Nazirus. Oh. So over here, we have to, the Gemara says mufurish. Half goes to the oila, half goes to shlamim. Now the problem is, which half goes to oila, which half goes to shlamim? How can I buy a shlamim with this money? It's oila money. And how can I buy an oila with this money? It's shlamim money. I don't know which one is what. I don't know. So how can I go to the store and buy an animal with oila money when I'm trying to buy a shlamim? And vice versa. So for that, the Rosh says, very simple advice. You take both of these bags and you go to the store and you buy 2 animals with it. And you give it to the owner. And you say, the oila money in the whatever bag goes towards the oila, and the shlamim money in whatever bag and wherever it is goes towards my shlamim. Thank you very much. Give me 2 animals and you walk out. That's how you do it. But to go and purchase one animal from one guy and another animal from another guy, says the Rosh, it's not going to work. Because you just don't know where the money is.
How does that work out? Which animal is the shlamim, which animal is the oil?
No, you could designate which animal is what. But the money somehow goes to the owner, to the seller. It's a t'nai. I'm giving you, here, take all the money, do whatever you want with the money. Just the oila money goes towards my oila animal, the shlam money is going towards the shlam animal.
Why does it matter if it's the same person? Just get 2 animals.
From where? No, you can't because this I might be giving the guy complete shlamim money. Maybe this is look. You see, me and you know this is Oila, right? I'm going and I'm buying what? I'm buying a shlamim now, and I by mistake gave you the Oila money. That's Aser.
So you have to say, I'm buying both when you buy.
Right, I'm buying both, and I'm giving you all the money in one shot, and Hashem will figure out the shlamim should go towards the shlamim, the other should go towards the Oila. You could do whatever you want with the money. That's not your problem. And now I don't have a problem because I didn't buy anything specific. I bought two with all the money. Very simple. Don't be busy with this. Don't worry about it. When you worry somebody's going to slip on it. It's not going to ruin the floor. It's fine. Oh, my shoes. No. That was chas v'shalom. Okay, weiter. Oh, the turning of the Daf sponsored for Yeshiva Snoma Torah Yerushalayim and Rav David Amin Shlita, who always encourages us to finish Shas, and for the Magid Shir Latzlach for them and the members of the HBA Group and their families. Amen. Zog Deil Gemara. Umayalin bikulan vein mayalin b'miktasan. Oh, this is why I actually brought these bags here. See this money, the chatas money, that goes somewhere else. That goes, we're not dealing with that. That goes Yam HaMelech. Now, there's a halacha that if somebody uses any kachim, let's say there's a carbon, and you take it and you ride it, whatever, use it. You're mayal. You're over on mi'ila. You're using something from the Beis Hamikdash. You can't do that. You have to bring a carbon. You have to pay a little money. The whole thing. This is the Raisa. Now, if I go ahead and I decide I want to use some of this money, I want to use one bag full of money. Am I over on mi'ila or not? Here, I have two bags. I want to use one bag. The answer is no, because there's no mi'ila on shlamim. Shlamim is what? Kache kalim. Oila, kachi kachim. So the mi'ila is on the oila. Now, I don't know which bag is oila, which bag is shlamim. So if I used one out of the two bags, 50%, I'm not over. When am I over? When I use 51%. If I use 51% of the money here, now I definitely dipped into the oila money. Once I dip into the oila money, even 1%, I'm over. What does the Gemara say? What's the lashon of the Gemara? Umayalin bekulon. You have to use 100%. So that's not accurate. The Gemara didn't mean it. I shouldn't say it's not accurate. The Gemara doesn't mean bekulon. It means ruba kikuloi. In order for me to be over mi'ila, since half of this money is shlamim money, so I need to use more than half. I need to use 51%. Then I know that I'm for sure using some of the oila money. And then I'm over, again, the word umayala means it's aser to do mi'ila. How am I doing? Not umaylim that are permitted. It's aser to do mi'ila if I use all the money, in other words, 51%. Ve'mayalin, and I'm not over on the iser called mi'ila, b'miktasan, if I only use 50%. Yeah? Is that good? What? Oh, what? If you want, no, you shouldn't be, no. It's aser. It's aser to be mile on 49%. You can't use something from the Beis Hamikdash, even though you don't have to bring a carbon, you don't have to pay a chaimesh, you don't have to go through the whole process. You're still going to get zets up there. No, they're going to one side, Huh?
Why is it not
Shalom Aleichem, I missed you. Where were you for the last 6 months? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. No, it's Chulun Bazara. Chulun Bazara, you don't bring Chulun Bazara for a Suffolk Deraisa? I should bring a carbon because maybe I made a mistake? Here, okay. Asham Talib. Suffolk Deraisa. No, but we go by the Roiv. Achiravim lahatos. It's in this week's parsha, no? Weiter. Elu, loylasi, vashar. I said that word. I'll say it again because you brought it up. They asked Rabbi Yotzei Neifshitz when he was a kid, the famous. The guy said it in a speech, but I think he reversed it a little bit. So I'll be misaking it. They asked Rabbi Yonatan when he was a little kid, they said, Guy asked him, if most of the world is 8 billion non-Jews and they're all non-Jewish, so shouldn't you go by the Rav? Your Torah says you should go by the Rav. How come you don't go by the Rav? No. You only go by the Rav when you have a suffix. When you don't know what to do. But when it's Pasha, you go by the meat also. If you know that this little piece of meat is treif, and you have 100 pieces of meat that are not treif, of course you don't eat this piece of meat. You don't go by the Rav. Fine. Next. In Rishayim and Aminyan. They're not Rishayim. Not every guy is a Russia. I had a shuim. Huh? When we get to Mila, we'll learn if there's such a thing as Asham Tali or Mila. Says, we're talking Chacham here. Okay, weiter. Huh? Listen, it is Matzah Shabbos, so we got to go weiter. Oh, now it's the same case, but a little different. Instead of saying, this is Chatas money and I know what to do with it, now he's saying, this is Oila money. The one that he's being specific about is the Oila money. And these two, you can mix them up, I don't know what's what. This money, since it's very specific, and I could bring a Oila Binadava, so now I just take this money and I buy oil with it. That's easy. And if I use it, I'm over ami'ila. I'm over ami'ila. Even $1, one penny out of this, I'm over. Vashar, these two bags, the shlamim and the chatos, yiplu l'nedava. What's going on here? But the chatos, I don't know where the chatos money is, and I can't buy a chatos with it. So why is it yiplu l'nedava? Halacha l'Moshe Messinai. The halacha Moshe Messinai doesn't say when I have all three bags. The halacha Moshe Messinai says whenever I have a chatos and I don't know what to do with the chatos money and I don't know where it is, it's mixed up somewhere. It's sasum. Even if it's two bags, it all goes to the nedava. Question: is there a difference between the first word on the line? If you have oila money, you buy a oila. And if you have these two, yiplu l'nedava. What do you do with nedava money? You buy an oila with it. So how come it doesn't say in the beginning, you view nedava? It says, Dmei oila, you view oila. And then these two bags, you go and you give it to the nedava, to the pushka. Huge nafkamina, Rabbi said. What's the difference? Huh? Oh, it says Benny, Le'oila means you buy yourself an oila. The one that's specific oila, you said I'm designating this for oila. So you take this money, don't give it to the Beis Hamikdash. You buy yourself an oila with it. You give it as an adava. These two is not yours anymore. It's an adava. This goes into the pushka and the Beis Hamikdash. They buy an oila with it. L'mashal, if you have to oila, let's say you bring a nesachim with the oila. You have to buy wine and all that stuff. Who buys the wine? You. It's your oila. You buy the wine. Over here, these two bags, you throw it in the pushka, you let the Beis Hamikdash take care of the wine, you let the Beis Hamikdash take care of everything else. Whenever they need it, they'll use it, and whatever goes along accompanies that nidvas oila, the Beis Hamikdash will take care of it. So that's why there's a nafkamina. You see, the lashon is very nice. Yaviu oila. Don't say nadava. Yaviu oila. And then a second later, Vashar yiplu nadava. It is oila. But it's an nadava for the Beis Hamikdash. Zog die Gemara weiter. Umayalim bekulon. What's bekulon here? Yeah, now we have two bags, chatas bag and shlamim bag. Before we had oil and shlam. Now it's chatas because the oil we know what to do with. Umayalim bekulon. Rabbi say the same exact thing. In order to be over mi'ilah, there's no mi'ilah on the shlamim bag. There's only mi'ilah on the chatas bag, but I don't know which one is what. It's all mixed up. It's back here. There's no sign on it. So in order to be over on mi'ilah, I have to use 51%. Says Gemara, Umayel Mikulad, in order to be over on mi'ilah, you have to use all of it, meaning 51. You're not over mi'ilah if you're using 50. Let's see Taisvus. Where is it? ve'ein mo'ilim b'miktsasam. You see, Taisus Dibra Maskeh ve'ein mo'ilim b'miktsasam. It's a little hard to find. It's like where the Gemara finishes, the end of the Gemara part, 3 lines up. U'mo'ilim b'kulan. Or like in big letters that say Vashar Yiblu Nadava. U'mo'ilim b'kulan. B'shvil d'mei chadas amuram behem ve'ein b'nei mila. Ve'ein mo'ilim b'miktsasam. He always makes us roy lavoi kulei shlamim. Says Taisvis, the entire thing could be a shlamim. Big sharam, the lama lo yimalu afilu b'miktas. Wait a minute. Says Taisvis, asks Taisvis a beautiful question. What's going on here? This shlamim and this chatas combined together, and what do you do with it? You buy an oil with it. So this is not shlamim anymore. What is this? This is oil money. You hear the chap, Taisvis kasha, it's a gewaldige kasha. If these 2 bags become oila, they become an adava for the tzibur, so how could I consider this shlamim money non-me'ila money? I could use it, and if I use it, I don't get an avera. You do. You're going to purchase with this shlamim money a oila. A oila, we said, is me'ila right away. Oila is kachi kachim. So this shlamim just turned into kachi kachim. How do you get out of such a question? You have to be Taisvis. Look what Taisvis says. Wait a minute, even whatever you use out of the money, you don't have to use 51%. Even if you used 1%, you're over mila. Kiv in the noiflin, kulan adava, dahainu, oilas kaitzam lamizbeach. This is for the dessert of the mizbeach. Mishtamish lo b'dmei oila. Now the shlamim flips into oila money, and now you just used oila money. It says Taisves v'tzarich loymar dad shasak krovish makriv oila. Until that moment that you put it onto the mizbeach, le'nafag mishem shlamim shoyu aleim adheina. Says Taisvis, you're right. This shlamim is going to become oila, but only when you're makriv it. You bring it as akrava. But when it's just in the bag before you makriv it, before you buy the I don't know what point it is. There's a certain point that it's not an oila yet. It's still shlamim money. You're right. In the future, this is going to turn into an oila. When you put it on the mizbeach or whatever Taisus means, you makriv it. But right now, when I use the money from my wallet, my shlamim wallet, it's not an oila yet. Okay? It's a nice chiddush. Yeah? No, you don't like it. He rolled eyes a little bit. Okay. Omarav un Omarav. Lishanu elamais. This whole halacha, Rabbi says bags of money. Because bags of money, it's very easy for me to do whatever I want with it. It's money. Aval behema, let's say somebody, instead of putting on the side cash, he put aside an animal. He takes a cow and he says, this cow is worth at least 2-3 sheep. I'm gonna sell this one day and buy my sheep with it. Harei kimufureshes. This doesn't have a halacha of moistumim. Moistumim is when I have chatas money mixed into the whole picture. Over here, I have an animal. What am I going to do with this animal? I have to go. If I gave you today a cow, and I told you, go convert it to cash, how long would it take you? Huh? 10 minutes? Yeah, okay, I'll give you a cow right now. If you can do it in 10 minutes, you get to keep it. Huh? For market value, it'll take you 6 weeks. 10 minutes. In other words, this halacha only works. It only works with money, liquid. Very good. It needs to be liquid money, not just liquid is the best word. You know why? What if it's not liquid? What if it's a solid bar of gold? Is it liquid or not liquid? What do you say right now? Is it liquid? Solid bar of gold. Solid bar of gold. Liquid?
Yeah, partially.
Partially. What do you say?
It is. You gotta sell it.
Where are you going to sell it? Where are you going to sell it? You can buy stuff with it.
Today it's easy to sell and trade gold. Same thing.
You mean because you get on your computer real quickly and it's that? Okay. You can also sell a cow traded online. And you can trade wheat online and barrels of oil. Okay, fine. So Rav Nachman explains, wait a minute, what's going on here? It's going on, he's right, I'm wrong. Rosh Kollel is right. Why? because an animal you could, be'etzem, says Rav Nachman, trade easily. We're talking about an animal that's whole and complete and is roy for a carbon. And now that's a big problem. In order to convert that animal into cash, you have to wait until it befalls a mum. You have to let it graze. You can't do anything to it. You can't whack it in its leg and break its leg and say, oh, it's a mum. You have to let it fall by itself and break its own leg, which many times doesn't happen. It can take months. And memela, it's not liquid. If it has a major mum and it's not right for a carbon, then we don't have an issue anymore. Then it's liquid. And it's like a regular, it's only Matzah Shabbos, by the way, it makes a lot of noise, you know this? Aval, listen to this. Aval niska, a bar of gold. Naska. I don't know what's going on here. My thing froze. Hold on. Yeah. Oh, what does a bar of gold look like? The other one doesn't know. So the kids don't know for sure. Here. This is what a bar of gold looks like. Oh. I'm not schaloi. I was thinking we need one for the shir. We do need one. I can't afford it, but if anybody could donate one for the shir as a prop, I'll take it. We'll bring it in. I'll take full achrayis. Nachman by Yitzchak Omar afilu nascha. So now the machloik is that we had over here, and this one said it's a little hard, and this one said it's easy to do. That's what's going on here. Rav Yitzchak says no. So let me just preface this as follows. You could take a bar of gold any day and trade it in for some animals. You could buy a car with it, not a problem. You'd go to the dealership, here, what do you want for a car? 30, here, this is 30, 31,000, here's a bar of gold. But if you're going to take the bar of gold and try to trade it into liquid cash, that's very difficult. Then they have to measure and this and that until you find the right person. I guess in those days, right, Rabbi Schoenberg, they used to use these, a bar of silver, a bar of gold. They would trade commodity, and it wasn't very accurate. It didn't have to be accurate. But when you want to trade it down, to convert a bar of gold into cash, that's when people became very finicky, and that took a long time. That's what the Maaser, yeah?
It doesn't anymore.
Forget today. Today's not important what happens today. Today, I don't know, you can use Bitcoin. I don't know, it's different today. Tell them then about Bitcoin. Let's say a person has a lot of construction material. He has 2x6s. That kind of stuff, who's gonna, you after a renovation, right? You have a bunch of drywall left over and 2x4s and 2x6s. Who's gonna pay you for that? It's garnished, right? Matzah Shabbos got to tell you a beautiful Maaser. There was a plumber. The plumber was called in to this woman's house to fix a major burst the pipe. So he comes in there and he realizes very quickly that she's an almana. And the kids are not doing so well, so he steps out and he brings in food and he says, I had extra food. He gives them food, this and that. And he fixes this major leak, he switches all the pipes out, the whole thing. It's a few $1,000s, and he sees that the almana is shaking already for the bill. And she says, how much is it? So he says, the city is doing this whole, revamping the neighborhood. I'm going to get the city for this. You don't have to pay anything. I'm just going to build the city. It's one of the things. She says, oh, really? Yeah, the city. Fine. And he leaves. Years later, 10, 15 years later, this same plumber, he was doing a big plumbing project, not Yossi Klein, but like Yossi Klein's project. He was doing a whole apartment building, and he called up for a quote. They gave him a quote. He called up this other place. The next day, at the project, the truck shows up and starts unloading plumbing product. She's like, what are you doing? I only asked for a quote. She says, no, you didn't ask for a quote. You paid for it. It's good. She says, no, I don't want this stuff. Take it back. She said, absolutely. No, the guy dropped it and ran away. So he's furious. He called up the plumbing supply and he said, what are you doing? He says, the secretary says, paid in full. She says, no, I know the tricks. I've been in construction long enough to know you drop the material and then all of a sudden you sue me, you send me bills, take it back right now. She says, no. So he goes down to the office. He says, I want to speak to the boss. So he sits down with the boss. The boss says, it's paid. He says, I know your trick. Take it back. He says, no, I'm telling you right now, the city paid for it. The city paid for it. What are you talking about? He says, I was a 12-year-old kid and the city paid for my mother's plumbing. The city just paid for all your supplies for the building. All right. No, it's a Givaldi Gazach. Beautiful Maaser. Omale, huh? Almost what? It's in 6 Svarim. My Tamayu de Rabbanon. Benny. All that free meat.
The city pays for it.
You know exactly that's a true story. You're the last person that should be talking. I'm not going to say Barabin what he does with his meat. Some meat flies to people's houses by mistake. Okay. Huh? Ooh, you just remind me of Meshuna de Gezach. I can't believe it. You just said this week's in the parasha. Our boys are turn to Daf Chavav Amud Aleph. I can't believe it. I almost forgot to say this. Yishkoyach. Sponsor. We just turned to Amud Aleph. Sponsor. Get over here. Get over here. Come here. Givaldi kid. Come. Shalom Aleichem. Tell everybody, what's your name? Say it nice and loud. Chaim Shmuel Marks. Where's Leiby? Your father learns at Leiby at night, yeah? All right, shkoyach. Great joke. Keep them coming. If you look over here, you're not going to believe this. I saw this today, and I'm like, but on Shabbos I can't write down, so I forgot. Yishkoyach, wow, almost missed this. 3 lines from the bottom of Taisus. Says Taisus, Zem Medrash Dorash Yoyoda HaKoyen. Anybody sound familiar or something? Huh? Very good. What's your name? This is your first time here? I can't lie. What's your name? Remind me your name. What's his name? Eli Goldberg. Shalom Aleichem, Eli Goldberg. Shkoyach for coming. In today's Haftarah, Mefurish, Yoyoda HaKoyen made this drasha right here. That's in Taisvus. And we don't really, it's not the Haftarah today, it's the Haftarah of Shkolim. But it says in the Haftarah, Yoyoda HaKoyen says, based on the Pasuk in Chumash, he darshan this drasha. Zeh Midrash, Dorash, Yoyoda HaKoyen, Osham Hu LaKoyen, Osham Hu LaShem, Lahavi Kol Davar, Haba Mimoiser, Osham Mimoiser Chadis, Yilogomem, Behema Babasal, Lebailam is a mistake over here, Babasar LaShem, Varis LaKoyanim. Unbelievable. No, it's like, that's like a hug from Hashem when you have in the Taisvus, the pasuk from the Haftarah. Okay, shkoyach. And what were you saying? Now, what were you saying? What's in this week's parasha? The Amon. Amon of Gargir. So yeah. Okay. Exactly. So you're saying the story matches up. Very good. Zog the Gemara. We're almost done. When did we start? We did not start at 8:30. I can tell you what I was doing at 8:30. Different time. By the Ma'ader Rabbanan the Amri. What's Pshat in Rabbanan? The Amri. Mois v'loy behema. You need liquid cash, no animals. V'loy nascha. And not even a bar of gold. Mois, you need liquid cash. V'loy svara, and not building materials. Elamata, ask the Gemara, if based on your svara, it should be mois, liquid cash, v'loy and not birds. In other words, if a person designated 2 birds and then he dropped dead, he's dead. He didn't drop dead, but he died nebach. And he left these birds. The birds die. They should die. Why? Because this halacha that you take the money and you give it to the Beis HaMikdash to buy oil with it is only liquid cash and not birds. That's terrible. This bird should die. Why? And if you're going to say, yeah, birds die. These leftover birds are going to have to die, unfortunately. What does it say here? Famous halacha, that when a person This is when I need real birds. We had it. When we were once learning Kingdom, I had a real bird. But I was grossed out. I couldn't really...
You're sponsored for that.
I'd rather the sponsor the bar gold. Fine. And I'll do, once I get the gold, I'll figure out how to get the bird. So he has two birds. He has two birds. As soon a golden dove. Oh, golden dove. That I could take as a sponsor. Fine. So the guy has two birds. When he buys them, there's only two opportunities here. When the guy buys them, he says, this is a oila, this is a chatos. 20 minutes later, too late. If he doesn't do that, he doesn't say this is a chatas, this is an oila, then there's one other opportunity. The kahyan decides which one is what. As the Gemara, it's only when he buys them, purchases them, when he makes them. Amai, hamois gmir law, only money can be decided later and nothing else. And so you have to continue the question. The question is, but we know that a kohen could decide. So if a kohen could decide, then maybe your halacha is off. Huh? Yeah, after he dies. It should go, it should be an oil, it should be something. Okay, we're done. Rabbi Isai, we're going to do the teretz tomorrow. It's a very long teretz. It might take a couple minutes to do Amud Aleph. So that's why we're going to leave it tomorrow. Have a wonderful week, a wonderful night. Welcome all the guests.